Hi, today I'll teach you how to find the house position of the moon in your horoscope. And it's so important because it will show you what is the most deepest needs of a person, what makes him most comfortable or her most comfortable, what the person feels most at home with. It will show you the most, let's say, ingrained nature, the face that they don't show in public, but the very private face and the very private character of themselves, which gives them natural talents. But at the same way, the moon is so important to know about a person if you're going to live with that person, because you need to have compatible moon nature, because the moon shows how a person is in the most environment when he's most relaxed, when all the guards are down, so the most personal, vulnerable part of a person. Also the moon shows an area of life where it's more flexible, where it's more receptive, more feminine, where one needs nurturing, and when you have to be more careful in that area of your partner's life if you're looking at your partner's or your own horoscope. The moon shows also the mother or the mother figures in your life, how you're nurtured emotionally and how you will nurture emotionally others. The moon will describe also the women in your life. Usually if you're a man, it will describe your primary partner that you marry, because usually it takes more, the wife takes a bit of a mother role later on in life as well. A lot of other things which we'll talk about. But first of all, in order to find the moon house position, you need to know your time of birth. Without the time of birth, unfortunately, you cannot know the exact house position of the moon. To do that, go to my website astrolada.com, enter the exact, there is a birth chart calculator, there is a link directly to the birth chart calculator below this video. Enter the time of birth, the place of birth, the country of birth, the year, the day, everything. Once you have it, you get a table like that. You can use another birth chart calculator. Usually most will give you the circular chart. It doesn't matter which we use. We're using tropical Western astrology here. My birth chart calculator shows tropical positions, Western positions of the zodiac, and this is not Vedic astrology. I'm just using a chart which is more popular in Vedic astrology, but it's Western astrology. Or you can use the circular chart. I want you to see where the symbols of the moon is. In my chart is indicated with MO, moon, abbreviation from the moon. And I want you, first of all, this is always the ascendant. This first square on top is the ascendant. And I want you to check the house position of the moon in two ways. Counting the squares in this direction, counterclockwise direction from the ascendant. Find out in which square the moon is. For instance, you might see the moon here. Sorry. MO. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So check the video for moon in the 5th house. And also, I want you to check what Roman numerical number is in the square where the moon is. For instance, if your moon is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, in the 4th square from the ascendant, which means it's in the 4th sign from the ascendant, I want you to check the video for moon in 4th house. But also, if you see the Roman numerical 5, I want you to check the video for the moon in the 5th house as well. Both house systems work, and both you identify with both. They're calculated in different ways, but they're within you both. Or sometimes you might have moon in the 1st square where the ascendant is, the ascendant sign, and also there will be the Roman numerical 1, so you have to check just for one house. But sometimes you might have for more than one houses to check. For 4th house, because the moon is in the 4th square from ascendant. For the 5th house, because the moon is in together with the 5th Roman numerical, and it might be as well another Roman numerical, which is number 6. So you have to check 3 house videos and you have to see which you identify best with. Moon in the 12th house, and you usually see it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Starting from the ascendant, moon being in the 12th square. This is the 12th house. And if you see moon together with the 10th Roman numerical, which is the house cusp, in probably 50-60% of all horoscopes, the 12th house cusp will be in the 12th sign, but sometimes it might be here, So sometimes might even be here or here, So whenever you see the moon in the same square as the 12 Roman numerical number, or in this particular square, in the 12th square from the ascendant, then you have moon in the 12th house. And the 12th house is a very psychic house. It's a very spiritual house. So such people have natural affinity towards very spiritual, even mystical states of mind. And the moon is very receptive planet as well, very sensitive. And when it's in the 12th house, it makes the person doubly so receptive and sensitive. You can always, such people can have premonitions, feeling almost psychic abilities, to feel the other, to feel the needs of another, to feel the undercurrents of another. So such people can often be extremely compassionate to the suffering of others, to compassionate to the needs of another. You can be, if you have the moon in the 12th house, it's very similar to moon in Pisces, but it's even more powerful when it's in the 12th house. You can be sitting in a train and everything is okay, and all of a sudden your mood just goes really negative for some reason, or you feel drained because maybe someone a few rows from you is thinking something very sad or is feeling very sad, and you don't realize why, but you just feel the same way. Drained all of a sudden, influenced emotionally by what's around in the ether around you, what's in the air around you. It's like your radio station can tune in at any moment to influences, but also positive vibrations. You'd feel them, you'd soak them very well. So deeply impressionable and sensitive people. And also they'll be very private about their feelings. 12th house is a hidden house, just like the 8th house is hidden, moon in the 8th or 12th. These people are private about their feelings. They have very lively and very strong imagination and deeper inner life, but outside they can be sometimes even like stone. Well, I said there are always exceptions, but my little brother has that, and you'd never think he suffers or he's sad, but it's just he hides it inside. It's more hidden somehow. But all very impressionable people, very sensitive, and they will often associate so compassionately with the suffering of others. They have this kind of psychic ability, and they're very good for professions that are, for instance, in the medical field, where in hospitals, in prisons, where they can be for sick people, or many people in the medical professions has moon in the 12th house in nursing, because they sacrifice, they're willing to sacrifice from themselves, and they're not people who go in those professions for the money. They're people who go there because they're drawn, because they believe this is what they're good at and they can help others. So very much a sacrificial position. 12th house is the house of sacrifice, of giving more than receiving. So any kind of careers like giving, like social services, maybe being also 12th house is isolation, isolated places, prisons, libraries, hospitals. This is something that they feel quite naturally comfortable in such places. And such people, because they're so emotionally soaking up everything from the environment, they might need long periods of withdrawing. They might need long periods of resting. They might need their own sanctuary where to take back to clean up their astral influences, other influences, emotional, and to rejuvenate. Because of the impressionability, they need longer periods of withdrawal into their own private world and into their own home or whatever. Such people can really benefit from, for instance, prayer, for more private kind of spiritual activities like meditation, prayer, just getting in touch with water, with whatever, something that is calming, going for retreat somewhere, or also foreign living away. On the more mundane level, 12th house rules hidden or faraway places. Or isolated places. And faraway places is foreign places, over beyond the ocean, far away in a culture different than the one you're born in. And for instance, my partner has his moon in the 12th house, so he's always lived in foreign countries, far away from his place of life. This is one of the positions for being an expat and living abroad. So, but you still have to be careful from your feelings, that you don't pick up too many impressions from outside easily, to be careful who you associate with, because you're such a psychic sponge. And the moon is the mother as well. The mother could have been very maybe you felt her a bit more vulnerable or a bit more withdrawn. Sometimes the mother can be even missing when the moon is in the 12th house. Again, I said there are many exceptions, but sometimes it's just like the mother is not there, it's a hidden house, or the mother is more private, or the mother is a bit more emotional, more sensitive, somehow in a victimized state. Sometimes it's nothing too extreme, or she can be foreign. You can feel maybe she can be from a foreign culture, and just in the best case scenario, more spiritual, more sensitive, more gentle soul type of person. And so every person with the moon in the 12th house is more or less a gentle person, gentle soul. And they need some spiritual nurturing. They need some alone time. They need some meditation time. They have such amazing fantasy. 12th house is escape from reality. It's the invisible world. It's nothing material. It's everything that is below the, beyond the visible world. And it's usually the imagination and the dream world of these people is extremely vivid. They might have extremely powerful dreams. Sometimes they can be nightmares. Sometimes they can be amazing dreams that feel more real than real life. And the sleep pattern, and sometimes it can be just their own imagination, which is so active. And if on the surface, the person, even if they're cold, but some are not, but even if you think, oh, this person is cold and so boring, but inside they have such rich inner life happening, the imagination, and they can be prone to escaping reality somehow. They might have a need to escape reality by watching more TV, daydreaming, playing computer games, going in some virtual realities of their own, or just thinking away or reading books as well. And as long as these are the healthy ways, not alcohol and drugs, it's okay, or just they might need to get away on a faraway retreat in Tibet or somewhere on a spa in Arizona. Give them that space. If your partner has moon in the 8th house, they need this. And again, they'll be very sensitive, so be careful with them. So yeah, please share if I've forgotten something about the 12th house. Share with me. I often don't cover everything, but I'm sure you experience living with the moon in 12th house will be much more enriching. And yeah, I forgot to say that people with the moon in the 12th house are really good for living, for working also in professions which are about research, scientific, where it's about spending long time isolated, where you have to research something away from society somehow. So good for people in medical or scientific research, in any kind of spiritual research, or living in ashrams, faraway places, separated from the hustle and bustle of life as well, or nunneries, or churches. But as I said, or foreign places. So thank you so much, and please share your observations.